Hello, welcome to Tricia's Cards and Crafts, and here's the last one, just about, I think, of my Sunday Simple to Stepped Up on Sundays series of cards for videos for YouTube for this year. So these are the cards that I've put together for today, and we're going to make this one, and this is the stepped up version that I've made to go with it. Okay, I'll explain a bit more about this. It's also been stamped inside and on the envelope for that one, and I've also stamped inside and on the envelope for this one, and this is the one we're going to make. I'm going to make with you today. I have got the early espresso marker, but I'm not going to use it because I'm just going to show you how you can get the colours that you want, but instead of using the ink the marker pens, if you haven't got one and you've got the inks that you want to use, you can use these blender pens. They don't have a colour, they're clear, and you can pick up the ink with these pens instead of actually using the marker pen. So if you want to blend something or you want to put some ink down that you don't have the pen, the exact marker pen that you want, but you want to have that colour and you've got the ink, you can use the marker pens, the blender pens, to use instead, to be able to colour in. So that's what this is what I'm going to be using to do the tree and the branch. Now I'm using two different stamp sets for these cards. I'm using the Have a Hoot, which has got the owls in it, and I'm using Life is Beautiful for the tree and for the snowflakes. So I didn't think that image, I thought because it's quite a small image, I thought it would be nice to actually add it to a tree. So that's what I've done. I've stamped part of this onto the card and then I've added that branch to it, but this one is coloured in and this one isn't, so I've used the blender pen to colour it in and to smooth out the lines on the tree, because this is more of a distinctive stamp, so it gives sort of a shaded effect to it rather than a solid image. Okay, so those are the ones I'm using today. So, and because I don't want the image to come out on both, and I could have just folded it and used it folded, but because I used it open because it's easier, it stays flatter, I've used a post-it note to mask off. So we'll do that first. Put that there. So as you can see from this piece of paper, I masked it off. So I'm masking along the spine of the card. There we go. And I've mounted my tree. So I need the Early Espresso ink pad, and it's going to be mostly this side of the tree that we're going to see, so there's no need to actually ink the whole of the tree up. So that's right, I'm going to put this down, there we go, like that, press it down, okay, and there we go. Now I will bring this down to the bottom because I don't want the base of the tree to look as if it's the base of the tree. And then we've got the owls on their branch. Now I didn't want to stamp out the snowflakes that are around them with brown ink. Now what I could have done, which I will do if I can actually find some tape. You can use sellotape or any sort of low tack tape. I might use some of this. You can use, here we go. I've got, whoops, they're all going. Some, just move that out of the way. Right, you can mask off the snowflakes so that it doesn't get stamped, but you also want to make sure that you stamp the images, but don't necessarily want the snowflakes to be stamped. So there we go. Could have right, so I'm just going to try and stamp this without getting any on the actual snowflakes. So then you can take these off there. So they've got a bit of brown on, but nothing, so there's no ink on the images there. Now there's a little bit there. I'm not sure whether there's not a little bit at the top there, but that should be fine. And then I'll just huff on that a little bit, and I'm going to put that so that it comes out from the tree just there. There we go. So you can't really see that there's, the snowflakes haven't really appeared on there. So, and we want the Merry Christmas. I've used the Merry Christmas sentiment there, and then on the inside I've put from Owl of Us. So there we go, and that will go there. Okay, so that's most of the early espresso finished with. Now I'm going, oh actually I need it, don't I? Right, I'm going to use, am I? I'll do it on here, it won't hurt, because I'm not going to use this again. So I'm just going to put some of this onto there so that I can pick it up on with my blender pen. So you just need somewhere to put it on to pick it up from. But you can also use it then to just blend the colours out so that they look a bit smoother, because they look almost dotted, because that's the sort of image that the stamp is giving. That's what it's designed to do. But I don't necessarily want that because I won't get the same sort of image from this one when I colour it in. I want them to match in with each other. I need them to be the same. Okay, so that's the only reason I'm doing this. Again, if I was using the marker pens, I would use the fine tip end to colour the branches in. You get a more sleek image, but it's not too bad with this. There we go. So that's the tree more or less done. Just put a little bit up here. There we go. There we are. So that's the... Now when you've finished with these, I just take a piece of scrap paper, and you can just, once you've used, you just brush it until it goes clear, and then it'll be ready to use on another project. Okay, so although these look pink at the bottom, there's no colour coming out of them. It's because I used a red based ink before. It's actually stained the tip, but there's nothing actually, there's no colour on it. Okay, so that's for now, and then I'll just wipe the ink off my pad. So that's done, that's finished with, and now we can colour the owls in, and I'm just going round the outside and the wings with some grey. Not quite sure why, but I wanted them to look as if they were a bit two-tone. On the other one that I used Sahara sand and crumb cake, but I'm using smoky slate this time and crumb cake. But I used the crumb cake around the outside and I used the Sahara sand in the middle, but I didn't really think there was enough of a difference between them. There's a slight difference, but not enough. So I've done these slightly different, and I used the same colours on this one. I don't know whether it makes that much difference, but we'll see. Okay, so and then the crumb cake in the middle. And I also used it for the feet. Whoops. There we go. And then for their hats, I just used real red and just jade, but any green. This was just the first green that came to my hand, so that's why I'm using these two. So I just did one of them with the green bobble and the green brim, and then I used the other one, the next one to it, with the green hat colour. So that's all I've done. I've just alternated them with the red and the green. So this one will now be the opposite way around. I mean, you could leave them, you don't have to colour them in like that. You could use any colours you want, but these are the colours that I've chosen. And then the last part of the card, I'm going to put in our snowflakes. So, and I'm using some balmy blue, but you could use the seaside spray. You could use any of the bluey, paley blue colours that you want to. So, and I'm just going to fill in now with the snowflake stamp and make my background. I'll put a piece of this underneath, just so that I don't get all of my piece of paper, although I already have got a bit of it coloured already, because I'm going to be stamping right off the edges as well, so I want to make sure it doesn't go all over my piece of copy paper that I've got underneath, because this one's already got marks all over it anyway. So I'll try and be as quick as I can. Actually, I might turn that around and just, I don't normally do this with small ink pads because they do tend to move around a bit. But for speed, for now, I'll just use I'm not going to go over the sentiment, I'll just go around it. There we go. And I just do a little bit just there and there. There we go. And there's that. And on the inside I just did one up here and I did one there, and then on the on the envelope flap, I mean, you can do this, you don't have to, you could put the flap underneath a piece of copy paper if you think you might, just in case you might get it to stamp, if you wanted to stamp all over it and go off. I didn't do that with the other one. So that's quite nicely covered. So there's the card and there's the envelope flap. Okay, so we just take this off now, so we now have got a nice clean edge on our card. Just fold this and use the bone folder to make sure it's, there we go, and there we have our card and envelope. Okay, so that's the first one I did, and with that one I didn't manage to get all of the brown off, unfortunately, so it does show up a little bit, but it's not too bad, and I covered it a little bit with the snowflakes anyway. So those are the two simple cards. Now for the stepped up version, I've used a piece of gold foil card to go behind, so I've mounted it on gold foil. I did the same thing with the background and the tree. I've put the whole tree, well, not all of the tree, but most of the tree on this time, but I did exactly the same thing. I've added some small where are they? Here they are. These are adhesive backed snowflakes. I've used some of these just to give it a bit more sparkle, and then I used some glitter. Now you don't, if you've got your own glitter, I don't think we've got any, this is an old Stampin' Up one which is Dazzling Diamonds, but if you've got glitter you can use some glitter. And what I've also done, I used a, if you've got a fine tip nozzle glue, fine tip glue pen, you can use that, but I've got a quickie glue pen which is what I've used to do mine, and I just drew on the sort of tops of the branches where the snow might sit, and I did a little bit on the owls as well and a bit at the bottom as well, and then I just put the glitter over the top, so just give it a bit more sparkle. Okay, I did the same on the inside, and instead of doing all over the flap, I did the three corners, because obviously the stamp's going to go in that corner, so I didn't use that one, and on the flap as well. So that's what I did for the stepped up version. There we go, so we have all three of our cards now. Right, well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, perhaps you could give it a thumbs up to let me know that you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to see more videos, you can subscribe to my channel, and if you click on the little bell icon, you'll be notified when I post a new video. If you want to make any comments or suggestions of maybe stamp sets you'd like to see used, then you can leave them below, or you can email me at triciascardsandcrafts@yahoo.com. If you want any of the things that I've used today, a lot of the Christmas stamp sets are going to be in the sale that's on at the moment, so you might find that they are discounted. Not all of them are, but some of them are. It depends where you are in the world as to what sort of discounts you get, because it depends on the inventory that they've got left over. But if you're in the UK and you want to buy anything, you can find my online shop at triciascardsandcraft.stampinup.net, and you'll find all of these things plus a lot more. And if you go to the Great Christmas Great Close Down event, or something like sale, I think it's called, you'll find that there. There's also items on clearance which might appeal to you as well. While it's only there while stocks last though, so once the stamp sets have disappeared, they won't be coming back. Okay, some of the stamp sets, I don't think it's any of these though, will be coming back in either the annual catalogue next year or in the next year's Christmas catalogue, but I don't think it's either of the stamp sets that I've used today. But if you want anything, you need to try and get them quite quickly, because they won't be there for that much longer, I wouldn't imagine, especially if they've got any discounts on them. Okay, thank you again for joining me today. Hope you have a lovely Christmas, and hopefully I'll see you again shortly. Bye.